G'day, Richard. Richard's in. Gay's in. Fantastic. Professor Quentin is in. Oh, g'day, Damien. Oh, my favourite people. How are you, Damien? I can't get through my week without you. How are you going, mate? What are you doing at the moment?
I'm deep in restructuring my chapter on development commissioning in Australian television because I was about 12,000 words in and nowhere near a point. So,
Oh, Damien, they're hard. A few of my students have done that where, to quote the great Dr. Amanda Evans, nay to it, that she had to write herself into a chapter. And I think she did that first. She wrote a chapter to write herself into the chapter. So you've done it too.
yeah, I think I've got an idea of where I want to take it, but I'm going to use today's session to kind of play with what that structure might look like.
If it helps you, Damien, Amanda ended up with 3 1s or 3 A's. So writing herself into the argument made a real difference to her. So fantastic. Oh, Damien, I'm thrilled. Wonderful. Kirsty's in. I felt my heart rate return to normal. Kirsty, lovely to see you. Megan's in. Megan's organised. Oh, look at Megan. We're all getting sorted here. How are you, Megan? Oh, just
I'm good. Thank you.
it is wonderful to see you. I can see you're getting excited. What are we going to be writing on this week, Megan?
I think I'm still just writing journal.
That's good, and that's what you're getting organised. Well, this is fantastic. So Paul's in, Gay's in, wonderful Mary's in. Oh, I'm obsessed by your wall, Mary. You know that. It's amazing. And Jamie's in and Oscar's in. Hello. And one day, by the way, I never stress Oscar Autopilot. He's with us just about every week, and we respect him, I'm assuming, him enormously, them enormously, and we wish you well in your space. And when you'd like to have a chat with us, do that at any time. It's exciting. Richard, it's like mystery, isn't it? It's like, who is Oscar Autopilot? I love otters. This is brilliant. So colleagues, welcome to Write Club. Jane's with us as well. Jane is so exciting for us all. Let's have a fantastic 29 minutes. Damien is going to restructure his chapter and his life. Let's follow his example. Colleagues, see you in 29 minutes. Let's do this. See you soon. Fantastic. Last minute, colleagues. And colleagues, we are finished. Oh. Obviously, we're going to go to Amina in a second, but we will just touch base with Damien because we're all just hanging in there about what happened, mate. Are you how's your proto chapter, new chapter?
It is. I think I have a better idea of what I want to argue. I've shifted away from a chronological structure into a more thematic structure, which I think is going to help. And something in the original version was I wrote this kind of comparison between Australian, American, and British television eras of development.
Yes.
And it's really interesting, but it's like 4,000 words long and probably needs to be 2 paragraphs. So I think this will allow for that to kind of be summarized that way.
So, Damien, it really is what I call the Amanda Evans problem. So you've had to write yourself into the argument. But can I say I'm a bit horrified? Don't lose those 4,000 words, please. You are putting them somewhere else.
I'm very much a version control person. Anytime I delete, I create a new version so that the previous always exists.
And can I say there's a life lesson for all of us. When I delete, I create. When I delete, I create. Oh, Damien, that's fantastic. Congratulations, mate. It's just been lovely to get to know you the last few weeks. You're absolutely inspirational. Good on you, mate.
Thanks, Tara. It's been really fun. Thank you.
Oh, you're brilliant. And wonderful Amina is checking in on chat. So that's a whole, Amina's now in charge of the chat. Fantastic. You're a rock star. Gay, how are you going, darling? So what were you working on, my darling? Queen Gay, go, darling.
I'm trying to make a coherent conclusion to my cemetery recording paper. Damien, I just put in the chat that I have a file for everything that I write, which every time I delete something, I shove it in there so it doesn't get lost.
So it's like it's like recycling. It's just sort of like your recycling environment. That's fantastic. But Gay,
Yeah.
you're feeling that was a reasonably good writing experience for you, Gay?
I'm cogitating. So I was doing little bits and pieces while I was cogitating. So fixing dates and things like that, which needed to be done, but in the background I'm cogitating the sequence of the conclusion. So it's good.
Look, I think in some ways that's great too. When you're doing referencing and stuff, it's like yoga for the brain, and then you're working out the patterning of other stuff while you're doing that. So Gay, we're with you. Well done. Good week.
Thank you.
You're a star. And let's go to the woman who reduces my heart rate every week. Kirsty, what were you working on? I'm excited.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited. I think I'm nearly at a final of my thematic analysis framework, and I'm so excited. And yeah, and when you said when I delete, I create, it just filled my heart because I had to delete a lot. And so I've been quite stressed about that. And I'm sending off my supervisor's summary today with all my bits and pieces I've been doing. And now I'm like going to do it so happily because I've just been creating, not focusing on deleting. So yeah.
And it's amazing how in the old days, in the analog days, we used to refer to these as outtakes, right? So it's the old, for those of us that are sonic practitioners, so you'd have outtakes, but it's amazing how many outtakes become entities in and of themselves, Kirsty.
I know I'm very excited because there's some that I've taken out that I'm definitely going to be writing papers on apart from my PhD already. So, and some really important things. Like, I'm so excited. I can't wait to share it all with you during the coming year.
Oh, this is exciting. Well, haven't we had a successful morning so far? So hashtag no pressure, Paul. Good evening, good late evening, Paul. What were you working on this week, Paul? I'm so excited I could explode.
It's pretty grunt worky. I'm looking at basically I'm looking at particular terms and terminology or phrases or words and trying to digest them and break them down. So I'm currently looking at the deeper meaning or the better meaning for the word digital. So I'm doing a lot of research around the word digital and how as beings, we are made up of atoms and we live in an atom-based world, but digital is a byte world and how they interact with each other. Nothing to do with performing arts at all, but it has a loose link. I think the more I research, I disappear from performing arts.
I'm so excited I can explode. And can I say, this is the moment, Paul, to do that work. It really, really is. With all the absolute rubbish over AI, honestly, I've never been a drug user, but all the nonsense about AI, I could just enter a meth lab and just stay there, right? People just need to calm the farm, right? So, Paul, you're the man to do this work. Oh, Paul, you're a legend. See, the haircut's working, right? The brain is closer to the atmosphere. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Oh, Paul, you're a legend. You're a superstar. And look, we'll check in with the Kyles, the woman I want to be, but she knows it. So, Kyles, darling, how did the writing go, darling?
Good. I know a couple of weeks back you said, or if you know your head's not in that right place, I did my structure of my final thesis. I got the draft and started filling in what my chapter names would be, things I didn't have to think about. But it's done, which is good.
Yeah.
I can start filling it now with all the other stuff I've got sitting in other documents.
See, this is crucial. The characteristic of the people that finish PhD is they stay connected with it every day. And connected means looking at it, coming up with a title, thinking about the structure. Kyles, that's just fantastic. Well,
and I'm really, really interested in Paul's where you go with the humans and the digital and where that comes to. So we need to talk more because I think that'll
I have no idea, but we'll see.
it's the journey, isn't it?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But Paul, you're the bloke to write that, to be absolutely frank with you. So Kylie, I back Kylie and I back Paul. Oh, that's fantastic. So Kylie, well done. And look, let's go to the Queen herself. So Maeve, this will be fascinating this week because her supervisors, who are cows, have worked Maeve very hard this week. So Maeve, what were you doing? Oh my goodness.
I was digging deep on psychogeography and I was free writing, and as I was doing it, my ideas that we were having in the office hours were percolating in, and so I had to start a new folder for income streams. I had to move documents. I still kept free writing, more odd things still kept coming in. So I definitely, it's a big go. That's what I think. And that's the thing that came that I didn't expect was that I think that the concept can broaden out my PhD. And I think that for the last year or so, it's been narrowing. And I think it could really more teeth or something. I'm not really sure what that means. You both probably know better than me, but I definitely had this sense that it was narrowing, and I had the sense that with that concept, it'll broaden.
Well, I think probably, Maeve, what psychogeography will do, who knew we'd go there? Psychogeography is the frame for the thesis. I think when people ask you what you're doing, you say, I'm doing psychogeography of King's Cross in the 1970s. Sort it.
Well, that will stop me from taking a full half hour, which is why I don't tell people what I'm writing about. And I would be delighted to save those possible half hours, but I usually just go, I swim often as my health, status, if you like, and I'll be there, and the people in the therapy pool where we all walk up and down and say hello, it's like a morning party. They'll say, and what is it your PhD is on? And I'll go, it's really complex. I write a novel. because the discussion of what it is I'm actually doing is just going to annoy them probably and take me half an hour.
They'll lose the stride. But Paul, just so you know, we ended up, as you might have heard, because I know you've been so supportive of Maeve with the podcast, but we went back to C.P. Lee's work on Manchester and psychogeography. I mean, isn't life amazing how it twists and turns? Just astonishing. So you're a rock star, Maeve. And Richard, what did you write? Sorry, Maeve.
Sorry. And I've sent you both an email about a possible writing retreat.
Oh, I'll find that email. Do I get to go on the writing retreat too?
If you can get a university to pay your $1,000 for sure.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen, is it? But so maybe I'll find that email and we'll send you on a writing retreat. Now, Richard, again, very calming environment around you today, Richard. So, Richard, what were you writing on during Write Club this week?
Well, you may remember a couple of weeks ago, I was putting in a proposal.
I know.
Which is in. So now I can find out what happens. But tonight I was just going back over that really because I was going round and round getting that research proposal together. By the end of it, I felt it was just a word salad. It wasn't. That's just my imposter syndrome kicking in. So tonight I went back over it and went, right, let's have a look at it, because what it really is a tight taxonomy of things. So I was pulling that apart and really pulling out each of the noun groups and just trying to remind myself of any loose ideas that I need to break out and look at carefully before I forget that, because of course I'm considering 2 different courses. So in case this one's for later, I want to get all those notes down.
I think that's brilliant. So Richard, I was going to ask you, so of course, did you end up applying into Paul's university and so forth? Has that ended up?
I have an offer on an MA at Paul's University, and I'm just having a look at this possible PhD at another nearby university. One of the supervisors there might be somebody who was at Paul's University. It's all very local here.
Isn't this getting weird, Paul?
I love it. I love the drama.
I love the drama. Gee, I tell you, I'm going to put that on a t-shirt today. I'd love the drama. And speaking of the antithesis of drama, and good on you, Richard. Let's go to beautiful Megan with the sort of calming white, everything going on. How did you go, Megan? What were you writing on, my darling? I'm so excited by your work.
I was really just free writing as well. I cannot remember who talked about last week kind of being in the thick of family things with their child and needing to get through the end of the school year. And I am a carer for a couple people in my family, and so have been away doing that for a few weeks. And so just trying to get thoughts back to full sentences.
Lovely. And Megan, you're doing that really well. That's where reflection can start to create those filaments between all the bits of our lives. That's really.
I do have one question for you guys really quick. A few years ago, I read a book called Deep Work,
yes.
Which is do you know it? Okay. And at the end of that book, I wanted to rip all my hair out because it just seemed like the people who can do deep work potentially might not have families and people that they have to care for, or laundry, or need to buy groceries or something. And so I'm just curious if I can ask, like, how do people find, like, besides Write Club, what are strategies for finding the little bits and pieces of time to sit down, to have enough space to have full sentence thoughts?
Well, I think it's about intensity. I'm a big believer in a half an hour of power or an hour of power, because if we wait for life to get convenient, if we wait for somebody to give us 5 hours where it's all going to be pleasant and there's a nice cup of coffee and there's a muffin and it's all great, that will never happen. So we have to take the time. And if it's half an hour, we take it. Go, Richard.
I find the best thing is just go for a walk and take a notebook.
That's
so nobody can find you. Then at least you've got those shreds of ideas when you get back home.
Oh, that's fantastic. And of course, people use sonic note taking as well, Richard. That's a great strategy as well. So I think, Megan, you've just got to, what time you have, start with what you've got with respect for the caring responsibilities and then work around that.
Can I jump in, Tara?
Go, Carl.
I am known as that strange woman who sits in her car with her laptop on the steering wheel while her daughter's in getting her dance lesson or her piano lesson, getting a quick 45 minutes here and there. So grab what you can.
That's exactly right. And if we're waiting for the perfect time, it'll never, ever happen. Never happen. So, Megan, you're doing brilliantly. Water finds its own level.
Yeah. Can I quickly jump in?
Yes, please.
Megan, I have lots, even though my family don't live with me, I still have lots of family responsibilities. And I do find that there's an emotional space in being up early, any kind of early, whatever your early is. And otherwise, every 10 minutes counts and is of value. So if you start there with the 10 minutes, you'll occasionally get some deep thoughts. I think don't mind for the deep thoughts, mind for any thought, and then let the deep thought arise of its own accord because that's the moment. That's my thought.
Beautifully said, Maeve. No judgment, Megan. That's the thing. No judgment. Just go with it.
And always
you.
get some sort of recording device next to you. So when you get the ideas, you can either write them down or record them on your phone or whatever. I was asleep 2 nights ago, and all of a sudden a thing jumped into my brain. Oh, and I woke up and I put it on my note app on my phone and went back to sleep. And the next morning I had solved a problem that I didn't know I had.
The human brain is a remarkable thing. Well said, Gay. So we'll go to Queen Mary. So, Mary, what were you working on? I'm excited. You might have to demute. Go, Mary. Oh, we've got two Marys. So Mary B first and Mary M.
Okay, so I have to just find one more reference for this article that's going to have a third review, but that's what I spent the whole half hour on and I still haven't found it.
Oh, no.
I'll keep trying though. I'm a great fan of the half hour writing in the morning, so I just keep working on this every morning and I'll get there.
Oh, you will. But I tell you what, that one reference when it comes through, and in fact, you know, that's what history is. People, when we talk about historiographical methodologies, this is the archival work. And I think we underestimate and underplay the methodological investigation involved in working the archive. And you're capturing that, Mary. You're brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, I actually need to, I've been told I had to put my work in my article into situate it with other scholars, and I'm having trouble with that. So the archival stuff, fine. I've written this great story from the archives, blah blah blah. But now it's like, where does my research sit? No, don't really know. They suggested a couple of people for me, so I've looked up them, and then I thought, oh, maybe I should add this person in, and now I can't find a good reference to show how relevant her work is to mine.
Yeah, it's a challenge because there's a gap between primary and secondary sources. So that's what's happening with you, Mary, because your primary sources are so rich and hot and complicated and granular. There's a gap between the primaries and the secondary, and you're having to do some really complicated work to make it fit. Oh, fantastic. So we've had one Mary. When one Mary is not enough, we obviously need two. So Mary M, how did you go? I'm excited.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of excited, but also blah, because I've got the feedback for my second draft, which should be, you know, ideally the last draft before proofreading and etc. But it's just such hard work, isn't it, Tara? Because, you know, you look at, you know, what you've got to do, and then I look back up where I've got to fix up things, and then look onwards, and it all needs fixing. You know, it's not just one little thing. Everything in the pool needs doing. And like, oh man. So I don't know if I'm creating more work for myself or not.
Mary, all I do, to be frank with you, when we're at that stage, and I'm at that stage now, I was doing that exact work that you're talking about. I'm doing that in Write Club now. I just focus on one sentence at a time. And I don't go up and down. I go, how can I make this sentence as magnificent as I can? done, next sentence. And I just focus, you know, my dream at the end of my life is that I've written a good paragraph, right? So I think the flicking, Mary, when at first it creates panic, you think, oh, geez, this is rubbish. And I understand that. So what we need to do is just sit in the paragraph and improve the paragraph and then move forward to the next paragraph. And that may help, Mary, because then you don't panic.
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got a lot of smiley faces, so you know it's doable. But then I just look back at what I've written and go, oh no, I'm going to change that. And so I end up rewriting the whole section.
Done is better than perfect.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting to that point where I just need to get it done and back out and off my computer.
Yeah, so just sentence at a time, and then thanks for playing. We're out, girlfriend. We got you, Mary. Hang in there. You got it. You got it. One sentence at a time, mate, and that's enough. That's enough. All right.
All right.
Gonna go. I know you don't believe me. Just try. Just try and see if I'm talking rubbish or not. But I'll take that critique. Should we go to the wonderful Carolyn, who's been with us for the last hour and a bit? So, Carolyn, how are you? Are you doing well? What were you working on, my love?
Hi everyone. I'm taking 12 weeks leave to finish my thesis, and it's kind of been great to go back to chapter 1, and I want to read and work through. So I'm doing fine editing, I suppose. You could call it that. And today I'm in chapter 2, section 3. So it's theoretical constructs in there, and enough to make your hair curl. So very fine little tweaks to make sure that the examiner panel will be able to understand what I'm talking about in relation to the study stuff. This is the background theory. And yeah, so it's slow, and I'm just on leave. This is the first week, and I've made some pretty fast progress already, I think. And I've actually been enjoying it because I've been listening to you all, and all of those single sentences situating the paragraph, and I've got to do it all again kind of scenarios. Eventually you get to this point and you think, hey, actually, this is all really starting to show a thread that I didn't think was actually there. Way back, I had a whole lot of ideas, and it's unfolded, and I'm really excited. I know other people have been using that word excited. I haven't used it much in the last 8 years. I'm getting excited now.
And look, Carolyn, you are amazing. And Mary, probably you needed to hear Carolyn saying that one sentence at a time will get you home. Carolyn, you've changed my life this morning. That is brilliant. Congratulations, my love. Oh, that's fantastic. And look, we're going to have last 3 fabulous humans. Irina, my love, you've been with us for a couple of hours. How are you going, my darling?
I'm okay. I finished what my professor here asked me to do, like run the methodology and introduction of an article. I'm waiting for his feedback, and I need some data that we have to enter. And I was trying to contact you, like I will be probably the president of the postdoc community at my university for the next year. I was the vice president before, but yeah, and we're doing some lectures, and we invite some people, and if you're interested in helping us learn more, and I learn a lot from you. You changed my life, and I would like to share with my colleagues.
Well, I feel, of course I will do that, and I feel so lucky to know you. And can I say it's been a blessing for me. I know Paul feels the same way too, to see every week how you've continued to move forward in tough times through difficult things, and you've stayed with us, and you look at the smile that's starting to appear. So Irina, we are so thrilled to see you, and we're with you, my darling.
Thank you.
You're very, very precious. And look, we'll finish off with Queen Jane and Dina if Dina is available. Dina's always available, bless her. But Jane, tell us something fabulous.
It's a fabulous week in the sense that you YouTube video and the time spent with Maeve helped me decide what to do with my thesis. The first one is the citation. So I always have more women in my thesis, but I know how to do with some name that I don't want to mention before now. So that's a great success. The second one is the psychogeography, because with my river. So with your advice on how to create the psychogeography for the reader so they can experience what I take for granted, that's the best advice that you have. Thank you so much for Jamie, Tara, and Merv, because that will be what I have to do with my river. That's such an insightful week, Tara. I'm so grateful to connect to you all.
Hi, Lee, are you getting all weird pins and needlies on this? This is unbelievable. Oh, Jane, you are just inspirational. And who knew psychogeography? Who knew that remembering C.P. Lee after all these years would be so influential? It's amazing. Jane, you're wonderful. Now, Dina, you may not be available, darling one. We're going to wave at you and make sure all is well with you and everything is fantastic. So, colleagues, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week. Mary M., we're with you. We're with you. Let's find out next week how we've gone. And colleagues, have a lovely, lovely weekend. And Kylie, you're precious. We got your girlfriend. See you on the other side, dear friends. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.